This is the series premiere of a brand new series called The Masked Critic. You have to guess who that is, and then...
Okay.
Oh, you just ruined the whole joke!
You literally just ruined it.
I didn't know we had a show going. My plan was taken off.
Star Wars Return of the Jedi is the final film in the original film trilogy, the trilogy that pretty much every single Star Wars fan can agree on. And, yeah, it's a movie. Yes. We're all here to talk about it. However, you may notice there is someone different here than Jared this time around. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Michael. I'm his punk's younger brother.
Rip Jared. He's sick.
Yes.
He has become one with the Force.
He would have been here today, but he decided to go to the way of the Jedi and disappeared.
Well, so the only thing that I'll say on Jared's behalf is this one is his favorite, and he got sick.
Oh, poor
Oh, yeah,
guy.
it's his second favorite, right?
Which one?
It's a New Hope.
his favorite?
No.
I thought 6 was his favorite.
Oh,
Well,
it's four.
Well,
Six
he
was my
he
favorite.
loves it.
Anyway,
So,
Return of the Jedi.
to begin.
Well, formally, or before it was actually made, it was called Revenge of the Jedi. But
Yes.
George Lucas changed it.
Yeah, he thought, like, this doesn't fit with the Jedi's overall philosophy of Zen, open-mindedness, and overall compassion for other people, so they changed it to Return. But then come episode 3, they thought, hey, the Sith are all about violence and anger, we could totally put revenge here, it works.
Yeah, it does. There's a nice
So, they put
rhyming there, which is nice.
it's like poetry, it rhymes.
Oh, that could be a topic in and of itself for a video.
That was also a terrible George Lucas impression.
It's like poetry. Rhymes.
What we really need to do if we're gonna do an impression of George Lucas is we need to have like a flannel button-up shirt. We need to dye our hair white.
And
These
grow
big-
that beard.
Yeah, get these big like '80s era glasses, and
Yeah.
then just have like a very soft,
It's like
gentle tone.
It's like poetry.
Wow.
Rhymes.
Are you trying to be like Patrick? I need my glasses.
Yes. Overall, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not the best film in this trilogy. I think in the previous video we pretty much were all in agreement that The Empire Strikes Back, objectively at least, is the best one.
Yeah.
It is though. It's the only one that's in the Library of Congress.
It's in the
Is it
Library
really?
of
Yeah, it's
Congress.
in one of the.
Not in the original.
No, the Empire Strikes Back is in one of the like, however many movies that's actually booked in the Library of Congress.
It's amazing.
Yeah, what?
Yes, it is. It's the best one.
Yeah, basically what that means is once a film is old enough to be eligible, like the Library of Congress will vote on what movies are to be like preserved. They're considered classics of their art form, you know? Needless to say, Return of the Jedi has its issues, the likes of which we'll probably bring up in this video, but it's a good movie. It's entertaining, and
This was a good one.
yeah,
This is one of the golden children. I do want to preface this whole thing by saying, and by fair warning, I have some opinions that the two of you, Justin mostly, are not going to like.
well, why don't we start there then?
Yeah,
Alright.
Michael, tell us what you like. And what
Okay.
you don't like.
Alright, first thing that I liked, and this is something I hope to do with Rey in episode 9. Luke is an actually competent Jedi here. Like, in Empire Strikes Back, okay, hear me out. So, in The New Hope, he starts out and he's totally oblivious. He knows nothing about the Jedi or being a Force. He's admittedly a good shot with a blaster, and he's a great pilot. But those are basically the extent of his heroic capabilities. In Empire Strikes Back, we see he's grown as a leader. He's the commander of Rogue Squadron. Then he leaves and he trains with Yoda, and he comes back, he can do telekinesis and flips, and he can duel and power with Vader for a little while before Vader actually starts to give a crap. But following his defeat in Empire Strikes Back, I did some research. Apparently Luke made the rebellion take backseat for a little while. Well, he went to Ben Kenobi's hut and he used all of his records and journals and whatnot, and he built himself a lightsaber and trained it, and trained. So by the time he shows up at Jabba's palace, now we can see Luke as a guy who actually knows what he's doing. So, like, Gamorreans show up and they're like, no, you can't pass. Get out of my face. I consider that second only to Yoda tossing those two guys against the wall in Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It's a total thug life moment, but Luke just goes, he chokes out these two guys, Bib Fortuna walks up and he just mind tricks him and gets into Jabba's palace without a problem.
By the way, wait, I have to pause you for a second.
Go
Bib Fortuna has one of my favorite lines from Star Wars.
Do you wanna learn that?
No, not that. No, when he's talking to Jabba after Luke sends his message. No, it's not a funny line. It's just like when he shows up, when C-3PO and R2-D2 show up, and they give the message, and Luke's like, talks, and then he turns it off, and Bib Fortuna leans over to Jabba and he goes,
He's no Jedi.
I really like that, because it's like the heart of everybody underestimating that Luke actually is a Jedi or not. I really like that line.
Yeah,
Anyway, continue.
that was the other thing I liked about Luke now being fully realized. Everyone's like, "Oh, please, the Jedi are dead. You basically like know how to swing a lightsaber, I guess, and that's it." But then come like the fight at the pit of Carcoon, and now Luke is taking on like Jabba's entire gang single-handedly. Oh my gosh, I love that
And
fight.
not only that, his lightsaber was green.
Growing up, I always wanted the green toy lightsabers because I liked green. So I always saw like, yeah, Luke has a green lightsaber, woohoo! But apparently, Luke was gonna have blue, but they couldn't see it very much against the sky, so Lucas said, just make it green. We can see it that way, and we never said the Jedi can't have a color besides blue, so it totally works out. We have Boba Fett. We just had this one character who got named
2 lines of dialogue, 3 lines of
yeah,
dialogue.
like
The
5
whole
lines.
series.
Yeah, like 5 lines of dialogue. Got knocked into some pit by Han Solo.
Blind Han Solo.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an accident. It wasn't even like Han Solo
Boba Fett.
trying.
Boba Fett. Where? It's really
But
goofy
by-
when you think about it.
By the way, Boba Fett being ceremoniously slaughtered by blind Han Solo has gotta be one of the funniest things that's in this movie. It's like he's the one
I
of
think
the
the best part is his scream as he violently is like,
he's the coolest bounty hunter and he just gets slaughtered. It's like when Captain Marvel got tossed aside by Thanos in Endgame.
oh
It's
my
like
God.
she's
nope.
she's supposed to be like super powerful and then she just gets destroyed.
I mean, he literally just takes an Infinity Stone and is like,
One sucker punch and she's gone.
Blasts her away.
I agree that it's funny, but it's also like one of the goofiest elements of this whole movie because of what happens and how it happens.
Yeah.
And I feel like Return of the Jedi is one of the weaker films because of a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, it didn't take itself as seriously as it should have, I think.
Yeah.
No, and I don't think that's a problem because I mean, like, Empire Strikes Back takes itself seriously, but it has a lot of humor in it.
Yeah,
And a lot
that's
of
fair.
good humor in it too.
That's fair.
But I think this got to a point where it was
Han
more
Solo.
childish. Oh yeah.
It got to prequel humor. There were some entertaining jokes in the prequels, but there was a lot of.
Wait, that was a computer.
This is almost like the precursor to Jar Jar.
Ish,
A little
ish.
bit.
Yeah.
It's starting down the path toward Jar Jar being.
Can I say one more thing for the positive thing about the start of this
Yes.
movie?
We'll basically let you lead the discussion because I think your points are interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So I kind of like how well thought out Luke's plan is here, because he kind of tries to do only as much force, let's say, as is necessary. So he sends in R2 and 3PO and he says, "Hey guys," he goes, "Hey Jabba, can I come in and we negotiate for Solo?" And Jabba says, "No, screw you." So Luke sends in Leia and Chewie to try and infiltrate, but that doesn't work. And Han has already gone in there and he hasn't made any progress either. So Luke finally comes in himself and starts making some threats, and that doesn't work. You'll notice he pulls the blaster.
He tries to be diplomatic first.
Yeah, he tries to talk it out, and Jabba says no, so he pulls the blaster and tries to shoot him in the face, but then there was that one Gamorrean who made his shot go long. So he destroys the Rancor, they get taken to the Sarlacc, and then you
Oh,
can...
wait, hold on. One thing about the Rancor, that freaking weird, like the caretaker of the
The
Rancor,
trainer guy?
the two of them, they're like,
Yeah, he literally runs in there and he's like,
His face is so stupid!
like it's literally like a track from like this batch of sound bites of somebody crying. It's not even the guy making the crying noises. It's some like track over which I was like,
It's like, what the fuck?
it's along the vein of Boba Fett being
again,
killed by
it's
blind.
goofy, but that part I actually like though, just because Because it's so out there.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's so out of left field that it's just one of those things you just crack a chuckle at.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, no. You want the worst part of this movie, or at least one of the worst parts of this movie?
Go for it.
Jedi Rocks. That musical number.
There's a lot of special edition edits that were kind of bad with this movie.
Some of the garbage.
Not as much as New Hope, but there's still enough where it's like,
New Hope got screwed.
why? They added Sebulba. They added when Leia's
Yeah, I saw that. When Leia's going in to unfreeze Han, you can see Sebulba, or at least a member of his species, walking by the door.
There's a Doug in there?
Yeah, there's a Doug in there.
Huh.
It's literally Sebulba's character thing, just walking.
His feet are up. He walks like this.
No, it's literally the character model of Sebulba.
Oh,
If
wow.
I'm not mistaken, it's literally Sebulba's character
I
model.
can tell.
They cut and pasted from Phantom Menace in Return of the Jedi. I was
Oh.
like,
Did we really need that?
okay, we opened the can of worms. Or the Pit of Carcoon. Remember how the Sarlacc was just a hole? They added a mouth thing.
Well, I don't really mind the beak all that much.
Really?
The beak is.
I don't like the sound of the beak.
Oh, like the screeching sound?
Yeah. I like the hole better because there was a lot of mystery to
The
it.
design is okay.
Because I liked the mystery of there's just a big hole that's kind of scary and has a lot of teeth, and it made me
It's got these
like,
weird tentacle
weird.
thingies.
Like I liked the mystery factor, but I didn't need the beak. Anyway, that's always just kind of bothered me, but it's not that big a deal. And then Jedi Rocks and what's her face from
Sice noodles.
the lady from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Didn't she make an appearance in Clone Wars?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
She
she.
killed
No,
Zero
yeah.
the Hutt.
She was in the episode where
yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Is that the same one?
Where
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
I
and
thought it was
Quinlan
the same
Vos,
way.
they try to hunt down Zero the Hutt.
Yeah.
And she shoots him. She's
Yeah.
like, sorry, Zero. And kills him.
Yeah, I remember
And
that
then
part.
Cad Bane walks up and he's like, "Whoever did this is a total noob."
Oh, yeah. Very sloppy.
But-
I wouldn't have married such a sloppy kill. I don't do a good impression.
But she's in it, which. But here's the other thing about the special edition. They got rid of the Ewok finale song at the end. Remember the old one? I really like that. They have it in Battlefront, which I think is nice.
Yeah. They had it when you play Mos Eisley Slaw.
Yeah.
But see, this is one of those opinions. I don't mind that they removed it all that much.
I do.
I
like
okay. I did warn you that I was gonna have differences of opinions.
Also, I don't like Hayden Christensen as Darth. I mean, it's
Yeah.
okay,
Christensen
but I
is
like.
okay.
I would have liked to have old Darth
Sebastian
Vader.
Shaw, I think his name was.
It wasn't David Prowse.
No, David Prowse was just the person who
David
stood in
Prowse
the
is a
suit.
dude in a suit, but Sebastian Shaw played Anakin when we saw his face.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, good for him. Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I like him.
I would have much preferred
Yeah.
the old Anakin because the excuse that George Lucas gave to use Hayden Christensen about how like, oh, we wanted to see how he looked like when he was still like a good user, someone who used
Yeah.
the light side of the Force.
Before he turned into Darth Vader.
Right, yeah, I mean like that's why we use Hayden Christensen. That's who he was before he transformed into Darth Vader, but
Yeah, but that discounts the fact that old Darth Vader actually was
He was.
redemption.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
We should have
that's
shown
the thing.
him having made steps to make better himself.
So I don't know. Those are my critiques.
Yeah.
of
I don't
this
mind
one.
Hayden Christensen, but Sebastian Shaw's a mistake. I actually have the opposite concerning the Ewok song. I actually like the new song better.
I like the new song too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the new song more than Yub Nub. Yub Nub is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But I like the new song better because it to me encapsulates more that feel of, yes, the war is over, we can finally go home. Yeah, that one.
There is one thing that I wish they would have done with this one, is because in New Hope they cleaned up the Death Star battle and made it look nice. I wish that they would have done that with Return of the Jedi. Went back and cleaned up some of the VFX with the ships and stuff and maybe fixed it a little bit. Because during the battle you can kind of see where they took the models and rotoscoped them onto a blue screen. Like you can actually see the square around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see some of the squares sometimes.
Yeah, I wish that
I
they would have
noticed
gone
that.
back and cleaned that up. But
It's still an amazing battle sequence otherwise.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Like the stuff that they were able to accomplish in that scene, especially when you think about like other
How
sci-fi movies that came out around that same
And
time.
how they did it, my goodness.
Yeah, it's like it's so.
This is so great. That struck me when I rewatched this movie. It's that shot where they all first come out of hyperspace. Actually, no, it's right before they go into hyperspace to get to Endor, and you can see the Falcon. It's doing this kind of swooping pattern, and I thought, how on earth did they do that in 1980?
It's a cut from Empire Strikes
I
Back.
thought, how does it look as fluid and good as it does? They had to have done this on sticks.
It's a cut from Empire Strikes Back.
How'd they do it then?
With a model.
Just a couple of sticks,
Just
right?
a moment.
It's a
But
model.
it still looks so fluid, like
Well,
it's
yeah.
actually flying. It looks fantastic. That is one of the greatest praises I can give the original trilogy. The effects, you can tell they're old and a little dated, but when it comes right down to the core of it, they are timeless.
It's a good balance between stuff that obviously looks fake, but then doing as much as they can with the money they had to make it look authentic. That's one thing I do appreciate about the sequels too, is that even though they obviously have CGI in
That
some
was
sequels.
way better than the prequels had.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like, there was still a priority of having practical sets too.
Yeah,
Which
like
was-
when they go into Maz's cantina, you
Mhm.
can see there's all these costumes and puppets and like those big huge suits like the Jabba thing,
Mhm.
like the big things like that. Which side note, or not side note, new point. The way that they did Jabba was great. Like okay,
Oh yeah, puppet. pretty
yeah,
much.
Puppet Jabba was great. I cannot forgive A New Hope for having Jabba show up right before Han. That was stupid.
That was bad.
First
that,
off,
that
his
was a
CGI.
special edition thing that they
Yeah.
added earlier.
Like
or
his
later.
CGI was not all that stellar. Like comparing it to today.
Well, they did do it in 1990 something. right?
Yeah. For them, it looks great. But here's the other thing. Like we first hear that Han Solo owes money to this crime lord named Jabba. We're like, ooh, who is this guy? What's it like? We never see him in the movie until the special editions came out. And then in all of Empire Strikes Back, it's like, I've got to go where Jabba's going to get me killed. Like, oh dang, this Jabba guy is clearly someone to be feared. So now Jabba gets so built up, and they go up to the gate and C-3PO's like, Jabba do hot? And then we're like, oh shoot, this is the Jabba guy? We're finally gonna meet him? Oh my goodness. So Jabba got so built up that by the time we finally see him, we're like, whoa, that's him?
He's a big slug.
Like, yeah, he's a big fat slug, but this is the guy Han was scared of? It's like, either he's got some deadly mercenaries and bounty hunters on his payroll.
Which he did.
Another point I will say that personally kind of creeps me out with the special edition changes, particularly with the Blu-ray version, what they did with the Ewoks, because before the Ewoks didn't really blink, but then they added in CG effects to where they actually do blink,
I did not.
and they
even
touched
notice.
up the eyes a little bit to where you
Oh,
kind of see
yeah,
pupils.
their
yeah,
eyes
yeah,
look
yeah.
so huge and beady.
Yeah, like you can actually see pupils in their eyes now,
Yeah,
and
like-
irises. But yeah, like there are parts where like
Like-
Wicket is the only one in the frame, and then he'll like tilt his head, and then suddenly you see a blink there. It just looked weird.
Why are you so
I didn't notice that.
And then I would assume anyway that you both agree that the moment when the Emperor is shooting Force lightning at Luke, and when Darth Vader says no.
Yeah.
I assume you all agree on that, right?
That was so
Yeah.
stupid. It's like,
No!
we don't need him to yell no, because we can clearly see. Okay, this is something that I thought up to myself, and this gets into whole story details, so brace yourself. We meet Darth Vader in A New Hope, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is the ultimate bad guy. And then comes the end of the movie, and he kills Obi-Wan. Like, that was a totally experienced Jedi Master, and he just slaughtered him. Granted, he did like do the whole self-sacrifice thing, but Darth Vader just killed a Jedi Master. Like, oh shoot. But now, and then Luke goes to face him. And we're like, oh, okay, Luke has been training, he's at the top of his prime, he's got this. And then Darth Vader kicks his butt. And we're like, okay, clearly this guy needs to be taken down. But then when we got the bombshell of, I am your father, and now when Luke visits again in Dagobah in this movie, he tells Obi-Wan, I can't do it. I can't go kill my father. Especially since he says, I can feel there's good in him, there's a conflict. Which, I like that movie of Luke trying to redeem Vader, then kill him. Because when it flips, it's like, up until this point, it's always, you gotta defeat the bad guy. But this movie came along and flipped that on its head. No, now we have to redeem the bad guy. Now we gotta make him see how he can be better.
That is one of the best aspects of this movie, yeah.
The other thing, and this is a total sappy comment, so forgive me, but it is a really great message to send that even the darkest of people can be redeemed, especially once the prequels came out, and we saw how Anakin killed the entire Jedi Order, including children.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, after such atrocities like that, and Luke still saw, I can save this guy. He's not a total monster. There's a glimmer of hope in there. Like, it is a very, very beautiful
I
message.
think
to
even
send.
Padme mentions that.
Yeah, she does. She's like, oh
Mhm.
gosh, they're still good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a great story beat.
No, that's great. And that storyline is undoubtedly the best aspect of this film.
Oh goodness, yes.
And all the scenes with Vader and Luke and their journey is like some of the best storylines that Star Wars has ever had to offer. Especially one of my favorite moments in the whole entire saga
When they're
is
on that bridge.
When they're on the bridge at night.
well, actually no. I was referring. Well, that's a good scene too.
Oh yeah.
But I love the part where Luke is being taunted by Vader. Some other critics have pointed this out too, but the lighting is very key there.
Yeah, it's like dark
because-
and blue on one side, then kind of lit and normal on his other side. It's like
Mhm.
he struggled in trying to overcome the dark side.
Mhm. And that is an excellent example of filmmaking being used to emphasize character conflict. Because especially when
It's
Luke goes
good.
berserk and allows the dark side to overcome him.
You see, he's totally silhouetted, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Like, you don't see any light on him.
indeed. Yeah, and just the way that he acts, like Mark Hamill nailed it with that.
Nailed just going on berserk on Vader.
I also think a part of that I actually pointed out to, because me and Haley watched this, the part where he he cuts off Vader's hand, and then he's like, he looks at his hand,
Oh,
and then he
yes.
looks down at Vader's hand, he's like, we're the same. I can't do this.
Becoming this guy.
And he throws his lightsaber, which in retrospect I would have thought was weird that he threw his lightsaber away because he totally could have used it. But I mean, it's ceremonial. Like, you can't tempt me to use my lightsaber again. And then he's like, ah.
Well, granted, Luke probably didn't expect that because I don't think he knew that he could shoot lightning out
He's
of
like
his
getting
hand.
tased, and he's like, Ben, why didn't you write this down in your journal that it's studying? Sith Lords can shoot lightning. What did you do to me?
Why didn't you tell me?
He gets blasted. It's actually kind of
It's
funny
so right.
because you can tell that the electricity is animated.
Right.
And he's like, oh, ah!
I noticed that. He's literally just going like
But
this.
kudos to Mark Hamill, because from the whole movie, Mark Hamill's giving it 110%, which I really enjoy.
He was truly doing his all.
He's totally throwing himself out there to be the best Luke that he can be, and throwing himself at the lightning and doing everything extra and this and that and the other, and he throws his whole being at being Luke, which I really like.
Han.
There's not enough of.
Yeah,
With that
Luke-
being said, Harrison Ford
Goodness
was
gracious.
not
This-
throwing 110% of this
No,
movie.
he was not, but he still had me laughing a lot.
He had it at 80 or 90%. There were moments where I was like, "That's Han Solo," and then there was other moments where I was like,
He doesn't want
"That's
to be there.
That's Harrison Ford just getting a paycheck."
Okay, can I say this? What? So Luke just killed the Rancor at the beginning of the movie. They're bringing Han, Luke, and Chewie up to Jabba.
That's my favorite interchange between Luke.
That's
and
one of the best patches. I was like, "Hey, Han, kid, is that you? Yep, together again, huh? Wouldn't miss it. How we doing? Same as usual. Oh, that bad, huh?" That's the greatest banter
It's
exchange in this series.
It's the best. I
It's
really
so
like
good.
it.
Yeah. It's good.
Also, this. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
Well, I was gonna say my favorite example of Han Solo's snarkiness in this movie is something that I don't always quote, but in situations where it's applicable, I'll quote the part where he says, "Well, why don't you use your divine influence and get us out of this?"
Okay, that's the other thing. His facial expressions have me laughing so hard. He's like, "Why don't you use your divine influence and get us out of this?" And then
Proper.
yeah, that was the other good one. Or when he tries to hotwire the door, and then it closes the extra blast door, he's just like,
Oh yeah.
Or when he Ewok has a spear in his face, and he's
Like,
hey, point that somewhere else. Then like 3 more spears go off.
Like, hey!
The other thing is when Leia tells him, he's my brother, and he's just like... he's like
Yeah.
he might not have been giving it his all, but hun, I was enjoying him every single minute he was on screen. And Luke says, like, so they see the 2 scout troopers on the bikes, right? And then Luke tells him, hey, be quiet, there's more of them. He's like, hey, it's me. Like,
I quote that sometimes too.
I have
hey,
said that.
It's me.
I have straight up said that to people. Like in high school, I was known as the Star Wars guy. Like, if you had any question,
Oh, I
come
can
here.
only imagine.
Yeah. I know, hard to believe, but I was the Star Wars guy. So my friend, people would bring up Star Wars in class, and everyone look at me and like, whoa, what do you look at me for? You mentioned Star Wars. Yeah, I know.
Star Wars kid.
I am Star Wars Kid 2.0. I would actually say, hey, it's me. I would actually say that to people, that exact same tone doing the
Of course I know him. It's me.
Of course I do. Oh, we the guys who can use Star Wars quotes for any situation. Okay, so we've been talking for a little while now. Do we want to have like any closing points on this movie? Like just kind of summaries on our thoughts on it?
I want to mention one thing the special edition did right. That was when Luke has the funeral for Vader and we see the fireworks go up and it shows all the planets celebrating, because
Minus Jar Jar Binks on Naboo.
Yeah, no. Just no.
That's it. That's the only thing I have to complain about.
But as far as I can tell, I haven't actually seen the original cut, but as far as I can tell, it only showed the party on Endor, so we thought, oh, this is just the one Ewok shindig, okay. But then they go by and they show all these other planets, and we can truly get that sense of they have truly done a service.
Pause real quick. I watched the Coruscant part. Did you know that the Jedi Temple is in the background?
I did, yes.
And I thought that was destroyed.
Well, I mean, there's like 20 years since then. It could have been rebuilt.
No, Palpatine turned into his Imperial Palace.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I looked in the background. I was like,
it is
the
a cool Easter
Jedi
egg,
Temple.
though. It's a cool Easter egg, though.
Here's one thing I didn't notice until recently is it's like the panning shot of Coruscant. It kind of pauses. You can see a whole statue of Palpatine. It just falls straight over.
Yep.
Like I only noticed that recently. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because you'd think Coruscant would have loved Palpatine. You know, it was a crown jewel of the Empire. But nope, they hate him just as much as everyone else.
That was actually a good montage.
No, I did.
That was great. I want to sing some more praises of the cast. Billy D. Williams was so great. I watched Lando and I'm like,
I like
so
Billy D. Williams. I like the
He's
fact
so
that he
great.
smiled. What does he say? They made you a general. They said they didn't ask me. You're
I'm
no. What does
surprised
Han
they
say?
didn't ask you to do
No,
it.
he's like, maybe they did, but I'm not crazy. And then he's like, remember, you're the respectable one here. And Billy D. Williams
He just goes
shines his $1 million smile right at the camera, and you're just like, Billy D.
Billy D.
He has embraced the fact that he's a Star Wars person. He's embraced the pigeonholeness of it, and he's returned in Jedi Outcast as a voice actor.
He was in Star Wars Rebels.
He's been in Star Wars Rebels. He's done like all this stuff to maintain the continuity of the character. Like he
voiced Lando in his cameo in the Lego movie.
Yes, I was about to mention that too.
He's like embraced the fact that he was
He's
Lando.
Star Wars.
He's like
Everyone's
Anthony
gonna-
Daniels too.
Anthony Daniels.
Freaking Anthony Daniels, that guy's been in everything Star Wars.
I mean, that's his career pretty much.
I guarantee I could count on one hand the amount of times C-3PO got a voice and it wasn't Anthony Daniels. As far as I can tell, I think it's 2.
Was he in Rebels?
I think he was.
Was he the voice in Clone Wars?
He was in Clone Wars, yes.
Oh.
Never mind, 1.
Oh, there you go.
When was he not in the voice?
We'll have to do an
I'll have
analysis.
to do research now, because now I'm curious.
We'll have to do like an IMDb analysis or something.
Yeah.
But I think that this movie's really good. Like I said, the Pit of Carcoon part is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first time that you see a Jedi like in action in the whole original
Fully realized
trilogy.
Jedi.
Besides maybe Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader. But that part's really cool. I appreciate the space battle. I think that the whole part on Endor where all 4 of them are on the journey together was really cool. I always think the part where Luke cuts the front of the suit bike
Oh
off.
my gosh.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
so cool.
Awesome.
He just gets up. He's like, okay.
And the guy the stupid guy comes around and he's like, pew, pew, and cuts off the front. And he's like, ah!
Oh, as long as we're talking about stupid
Hold on,
trooper
still-
hijinks.
No, but like, I still appreciate that part a lot. I think that part and the Pit of Carcoon are probably my favorite parts of this movie. And I think the part where Luke is inner conflict, Luke with Darth Vader, I think is
Oh,
a
that
really
was
good
dope.
part of this
Very
movie.
good. Yes.
One thing, when that trooper, he manages to shoot Leia off the bike, and he looks behind himself to make sure it explodes, and he sees that, like, hey, I'm gonna, oh dang it, and he crashes into the stuff. I laughed so hard at that. There's one thing that we have not brought up, and I think we should have earlier. Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor.
Yeah,
How have we not brought that guy up
Young
yet?
Sheev.
Young Sheev.
Young Sheev. He was so flippin' great. Like this was the first time we've ever truly seen the Emperor. He had this hologram cameo in Empire Strikes Back, but up until then, that's it. That's all we saw of him. So he finally comes and he decides to just take over the movie as much as he can, just by channeling as much of Emperor Palpatine as he can. That little, ooh, I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
And then there's this little smirk.
Yeah, like he has so much fun. Also, fun fact: when they had the chair turn, the machinery they used for it didn't turn it enough, so he had to like help it along with his feet, and they had to do a few retakes so that you couldn't see his feet shifting the chair.
Nice.
Young old Sheev. It's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
I really like him actually.
He was so great.
It actually in the Empire Strikes Back in the original cut, you really couldn't even see the Emperor's face. So the fact that this movie focused so much on making his face lit up, like I noticed in the throne room scenes with him, it almost seems like they have like a flashlight behind the camera, like pointed at his face, so you can actually see. I think that was a really interesting take because most of the time when you see the Emperor in the prequels and all the other ones, I mean, they do a really bad job of concealing his identity because we all know it's Palpatine.
Not the guy who does 4 evil head turns in one conversation.
Right.
Right.
But like, I appreciate that they give him so much face time because he really commands the screen when he's in any shot.
Oh yeah,
I thought he was good. Anyway, what are your final thoughts?
he has so much fun.
Well, I'll share mine and then I'll start off with the grading too. I really like Return of the Jedi. I think when I was younger, it used to be my favorite just because of the finality of it all. But
Yeah.
as I've gotten older, some of its technical issues bother me a bit, and then like its pacing and how like while you're watching it, it doesn't really feel like it's the conclusion to a trilogy until like the last 40 minutes or so. And I think that kind of harms it a little bit in terms of like where the story's going and what it means to the overall trilogy, but it's great overall. Like I really enjoy it, and I think for what it was a good send-off for the original story.
Mm-hmm.
So as a whole, I would give it a B+ personally, which I consider to be a very good score. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the better ones in this whole saga.
I think an 8.5 is probably my grade because it's good, but like you said, there's parts that like when I was a little kid, I used to think Return of the Jedi was my favorite, mostly because of the Pit of Carcoon part. But like it hasn't aged well, and especially after watching Empire Strikes Back and being older and being able to appreciate all the stuff that they did. This movie, like Empire Strikes Back, looks better than this movie, at least in some parts.
Yes,
And
overall.
I think that, I mean, I don't know how they reversed in visual effects, but that's kind of a petty thing, just me.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I think the movie's pretty good. It's got Luke being a Jedi, it's got Darth Vader, it's got all your favorites. The Millennium Falcon gets a scratch on it, which I thought was really funny. He's like, not a scratch.
And
then
the
Lando
I have a promise, right? Not a scratch.
proceeds to drive the dish off.
Me personally, this was my favorite back when I was a little kid, and it's still my favorite now. Again, because Pit of Carcoon and the speeder bikes and the last saber duel and the ending, all good stuff. But now looking back, I watched the whole trilogy arc of all 3 of the originals, and I can see Luke's growth from whiny farm boy to now heroic Jedi Knight. I can see Leia from helpless princess to confident leader. I can see Han from thinking about #1 smuggler to now selfless general. Chewie didn't really have much of a character arc, but he was still great. So I see how they all went forward, and I love how everyone's grown, everyone's progressed. Darth Vader is now redeemed. The Emperor has fallen. There was so much good stuff in this movie, and the music and the visuals, and it's all just top notch. I like it. I know it's not as good as Empire Strikes Back. I like this movie more, but Empire was better.
Well, that's fair. I mean, like I said earlier, people can agree on Empire Strikes Back being objectively the best.
That movie was basically flawless.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically, it's one of the best movies of that era. But you know, like, if you like a different movie in this series more for other reasons, that's fine. You know,
speaks to me emotionally.
It's your opinion. It's like your opinion, man.
I know, right? It's this long forgotten thing in this era of the internet. So for my personal out of 10 score, I would give this a 9.7. I know it's got its quirks, but there's enough here for me to love that I hold it near and dear to my heart. Especially the scene with Yoda. I love that scene with Yoda.
Oh, yes. Very good stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this review. It was nice to have Michael on for this discussion.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Look forward to next month when we'll be having our discussion of The Force Awakens. We're probably going to have Jared back for that one. Woo-hoo. And that one should be coming out on Halloween itself, so look forward to that. I'm not planning on having a horror film review or anything on that night, so look forward to a Star Wars discussion. If you like this content, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps me grow my content here. And feel free to hit the bell if you would like to receive notifications every single time I post a video. Otherwise, I appreciate Michael and Justin for being both here once again.
Rip Jared.
Thanks for hosting.
Bye, Jared.
Sending prayers and positive energy to Jared's way.
I gotta make his picture my profile picture to send possible. Never mind. Send positive vibes to Jared.
And thank you again for watching, and you have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, old friend.